I want to welcome you all back. This is my part two of Darrell Brooks. And Darrell Brooks, I found out that he said he was a sovereign citizen. I was kind of thinking he was probably down that path, but it was confirmed after I saw some more videos. So I wanted to come on here and just go over some of the videos where he talks about, him being a sovereign citizen.
Mr. Brooks, can you?
But like I said before, what's up, Kareem and Brittany? But like I said before, his goal was to get off completely. And this is my issue with the whole sovereign citizen thing, with the whole sovereign citizenship thing. Hold on 1 second. Let me just. Hold on. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. But yeah, so what's up, Kenya? What's up, Alonzo? What's up, Doug? Give y'all a chance to come in. But so like I said earlier, I found out that he was claiming to be a sovereign citizen. And the funny thing about sovereign citizens are if you're a sovereign citizen, you're saying that you're your own nation. I'm sovereign, meaning I'm by myself or with myself. I'm not with the United States. If you aren't with the United States, then how can you talk about the Constitution, Bill of Rights, amendments, and all that stuff if you don't want to be a citizen? If you're a sovereign citizen, none of that stuff applies to you. The problem with sovereign citizens are who governs them? Who governs the sovereign citizen? Like, who makes sure that a sovereign citizen is doing what they're supposed to do? Who checks a sovereign citizen? Nobody. This is why it's dangerous, because the average person doesn't have enough character to not be governed by something. The average person doesn't have enough character. What's up, Oye? The average person doesn't have enough character to not be governed by anybody. And again, this guy killed 6 people and injured 61 more. And his claim is that he should be able to get off because the courts don't apply to him. And he even made an argument that stuck out to me. And the argument was, well, who's filing this complaint? Who's filing this complaint? As to say, the folks that are dead can't file complaints, so I should be able to what? Get off. Like, this is the mind and thought process of most people that are involved in this whole sovereign citizen thing. They have very low character. I'm telling you, when you hear their arguments, the things they're proposing are ridiculous. I don't get bothered by their main thing is being bothered by the police first, then the government. Now listen, I get the taxes. What's up, the Ice Cold Wolf? Now listen, I get the taxes. I'm all on board, but if you're a sovereign citizen, who governs you? And then if you're a sovereign citizen, who protects you? Because the United States can wage war against a sovereign citizen. China can wage war against a sovereign citizen. Who's going to protect you? Nobody. So it's just funny that Darrell Brooks is claiming to be a sovereign citizen, but he wants to be protected by the Constitution. That don't make any sense. If you're a sovereign citizen, the Constitution isn't for you. Think about it. It's not for you. They didn't make the Constitution for people that were, quote unquote, random in the world, just independent. If that was the case, then illegal immigrants come over here and they can be part of the Constitution. All these countries have their own constitutions. And you got to become a citizen to get the rights of said Constitution. This is how it works. So how are you saying you're a sovereign citizen, but you want to hide under the Constitution? It doesn't make any sense. And he keeps saying throughout the whole trial, my First Amendment rights, my Second Amendment, my Fifth Amendment rights, Sixth Amendment, Fourth, all those rights. But I'm like, dude, if you're a sovereign citizen, you don't really have the argument. Most of these sovereign citizen folks, I'm telling you, they got poor character. What they want is they want to be able to do wrong and get away with it. And in this case, highlights that to a perfection. I'm also I'm gonna also show you all where somebody put something on Reddit as a joke, and this guy tried to get the whole case thrown out because of what somebody put on Reddit. It is just hilarious because when you listen to him explain himself, it's just a weak argument, you know. But but let me play this real quick so we can see that he's a sovereign citizen. What's up, King Tabernacle? And let's just see. And listen, by all means, let me say this. If anybody wants to be a sovereign citizen, then be a sovereign citizen. I'm simply saying if you're a sovereign citizen, you have no protection. That means any other nation can just wage war against you. I'm just telling you. They can literally wage war against you. So let's listen to this.
Acknowledge for me that you have a written copy of the motion to withdraw now in front of you.
Yeah, this is
Just that. Madam Clerk, why don't you print off a copy and we'll give it to him. Just that. Well, it looks like Attorney Perry has put that in front of Mr. Brooks, along with the court is providing another copy. Mr. Brooks, can you acknowledge for me that you have a written copy of the motion to withdraw now in front of you?
yeah, this is a motion to withdraw.
Are you able to read that on your own, sir?
Yes,
Have you read it?
yes, I'm aware of what's in the motion, yes. I'm aware of it.
My question is, do you understand?
It's clear to me what it says.
All right. So let me start off again by asking you, do you wish to represent yourself in this case?
Yes, I do.
Before, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like to represent myself pro per.
What does that mean to you, sir? Explain to me that
Again.
request.
Again, because I've already said it on record, to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
I'm not going to make a determination, sir, whether you're a sovereign citizen or not. It's not relevant to my determination how you characterize who you are, other than you are accused of 77 counts, which I will go through momentarily, and you have the right to have an attorney represent you. That's your constitutional right. You have two very capable attorneys that have been with you from the beginning. You understand that, right?
No, I do not understand that.
What don't you understand about that, sir?
I don't understand why is a reference being made to the capableness of my attorneys. Now, I agree that they have worked tirelessly on a lot of the things in this case. And I credit them with that. I'm appreciative of that. But it also should be said that there's a lot of things that I did not understand about the proceedings in a lot of the court cases. There were things that I didn't understand why there wasn't certain motions filed. There were a lot of things that I did not understand the total.
So he says he's a sovereign citizen, but then she tells him, you got constitutional rights. So at the end of the day, this sovereign citizenship stuff doesn't work if you're doing crime. Like you can't. So what folks do is they try to say they do something wrong. Then they try to say, well, I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm going to get my way. I'm going to get out of this by technicality. That's not how that works. And you notice everything he said in court didn't apply because you can't be a sovereign citizen and then talk about how you protect under the Constitution. That's not how that works. The Constitution is for Americans. It's not for Chinese. Our Constitution doesn't apply to anybody else unless you're an American citizen. So if you're a sovereign citizen, you're saying I'm my own independent nation. I can have my own flag, my own constitution, my own creed, and my own whatever. I can have it myself. The problem is with sovereign citizens, again, who governs the sovereign citizens? This guy wants to be able to get away with murder. This guy literally killed 6 people and he said, the rules of the court don't apply to me. I'm sovereign. That's not how that works. That's right. If you're sovereign, you're not bringing anything. That's right. Thank you, the Ice Wolf. If you're sovereign, you ain't bringing any attention to yourself. Exactly. So at the end of the day, if a person is truly a sovereign citizen, they're not breaking the law. Once you break the law, you are in violation. That's why if you notice, there was a first, let me look it up, Native American that was tried for murder. Hold up. Because you know that all the Native American tribes are their own nation. They're their own nation. And a fun fact is, if a Native American tribe is a corporation, then they're tax exempt. So that Native American tribe, if they become a corporation, they become tax exempt. So that's just an incentive, right, for the tribes to become a corporation over a nation. Native American tried for murder. Let me see. And it was a big deal because most of the time they handle their own stuff because they're sovereign nations. See, it's one right here where they said the federal government let me see. Yeah. Okay, so prime example right here. When Patrick Murphy mutilated and murdered his girlfriend's former lover in eastern Oklahoma in 1999, state authorities arrested and charged him with murder in state court. He was convicted and sentenced to death in 2000. But Murphy, 48, a member of the Creek Nation, is asking that his conviction be thrown out on the grounds that the roadside ditch where he left fellow tribal citizen George Jacobs to die was part of an Indian reservation not subject to state criminal law. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear the dispute. The justices will ultimately decide whether the historical boundaries of the Muscogee Creek Nation reservation are still in effect or whether Congress effectively disestablished the reservation long ago. You see what I'm saying? So you see, he's arguing this happened on the Indian reservation. So it's out of you all jurisdiction. but they're going to go to Congress to see if that jurisdiction was basically de-established. But my point is, and that's just one case. There's another case of one guy that killed somebody. I think he was Native American, though. See, Oklahoma murder convictions reversed because of Indian reservation decision. More expected. The Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals on Thursday reversed several more criminal convictions involving Native Americans, including 3 for first-degree murder and 2 for manslaughter, with 2 of the judges registering their continued displeasures with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling last year regarding the Mesquite Creek Reservation. Among those whose state convictions were overturned were Christopher Jason Hathcote, Arnold Dean Howell, Jordan Batiste Mitchell, Shannon James Kelper. So what I'm saying, yeah, so for example, Shannon James Kelper, a former Tulsa police officer who was white and has Mesquite Creek heritage, convicted of manslaughter and given a 15-year prison sentence for killing his daughter's black boyfriend, Jeremy Lake. Again, this stuff got overturned because they're a part of a separate nation. Now, you being a part of a separate nation doesn't mean that when you go back to your nation, they're not going to deal with you. Just because the courts say we're not going to deal with you doesn't mean you escape punishment, because the tribe could deal with you. Then what you going to do? But anyway, my whole question is, who governs the sovereign citizen? We talked about Arnold Dean Howe. Then there's Christopher Jason Hathcote, convicted of first-degree murder, given a life sentence in McIntosh County for the killing of Terry Allen Westline. Arnold Dean Howe, obviously. Jordan Batiste Mitchell, convicted of first-degree murder and given a life sentence in Tulsa County for killing Christian Dehart. So anyway, I'm just letting you know that the sovereign nation thing is real. You see right now, these folks' stuff is getting overturned because they're saying they're part of this nation over here and out of the jurisdiction of the federal government or state and local government. What this guy is doing, though, is he's saying, I want to be under the Constitution and be protected, but then also be a sovereign citizen. So basically, you don't want any punishment. That's what you're saying. But let's continue.
Totality of the meaning behind, and that is what kind of led to a lot of issues. But these were issues that were being raised for a number of months. This was not just something that sprung up out of the blue. And I feel that as my attorneys, that it would be essentially their job to make me aware of things that I do not understand. So that's where a lot of the questions come into question as you
So let me follow that up, sir. If I allow them to withdraw, you lose their legal experience, their specialized training, right? Their education, their work as attorneys. Do you understand that?
No, I did not understand.
So if you are
So basically what he's trying to do here is this is what he really wanted. This is what he really wanted. He wanted to be able to represent himself, right? But then have the lawyers do all the legwork. This is what he wanted. He wanted to be able to have those two people, those two attorneys that went to law school for this. He wanted them to be his workers, meaning they give him all the information, he forms his case, and then he gets to stand up and pontificate in front of the courtroom. This is what he wanted. So if you notice, if you watch this whole thing, she kept telling him that you can't not have, say you want to represent yourself and have legal counsel. That's why he said, I don't understand. You can't say I'm representing myself, but leave me these two lawyers to work for me. That's not how that works. But again, Again, he was trying to game the system under this whole sovereign citizen thing. This is what he was trying to do. Again, most folks talking about sovereign citizenship are trying to break the rules and not get in trouble. You can't cause, so one of the main things is you can't cause harm to somebody. Now, many sovereign people argue they should be able to sell drugs because the person's asking for the drugs and they're supplying it. But we all know that drugs harm people. So you can't sell things that harm people. It's no different than you making food and the food is poisonous. Just because I asked for the poisonous food doesn't make it right for you to sell it to me. And again, they try to find all these loopholes in the law to break. That's what all this stuff boils down to. But this guy literally wanted to be able to represent himself and have these two attorneys do all his work for him. That means all he got to do is show up in court and have all this stuff laid out and he get to pull on the show. No, that's not how that works. But let's get to this. Let's get to this Reddit thing though, because the Reddit, and then I'm gonna get to the guilty verdict. We're gonna do the Reddit, and then we'll get to the guilty verdict. Now, you know, first he tried to go with an insanity thing, but that wasn't going to work. So he switched up tactics. This is one of my favorite speeches right here. It's one of my favorite right here. Hold on.
Your Honor,
it's one of my favorite.
With all due respect,
it's one of my favorite.
The state.
It's one of my favorites. Hold on.
Allowed to represent yourself in this case.
Not my fault. It's not my fault they weren't going to be prepared to
Mr.
do
Brooks,
their
here's the deal.
to do
The
their
jury's
cross.
coming out, and I'm going to stand my ground on this.
I'm going to
Okay,
stand my
it
ground
is-
too, but I'm
if
not
you
going to
don't
be
call
disrespectful or disruptive.
If you
I'm just
don't
stating I
call
want it to be
her
fair.
When the jury comes back out, I'm releasing her from the subpoena.
You can't do that.
For
Law,
your
where's
lack
the
of
lawful law?
cooperation.
Where's the lawful law? I have the right to
You have to
witnesses,
cooperate with this process.
but I
sir.
also have the Sixth Amendment
Well,
right.
We have a witness available for you to call. I can require
It's
you
not
to
the
call
witness
her
that
right
should have
now.
been called at this time, Your Honor.
It is based on the list that you provided and
That didn't
in the
have a
order.
time. That didn't have a time or of
I'm not going to
or
play
order.
this game with you.
It's
sir.
not no game. That's
It
what
was-
you don't
it
seem
is
to
a game
understand.
you. I believe that fully.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game.
We.
I don't take
I
this as a
asked-
game. That's what
Let me explain
nobody.
this to you
That's what
once
nobody.
again.
You don't got to explain nothing to me.
Do you want?
That's what you don't understand. You think
you
that
want
this
the
is a whole
opportunity
game
to
to me.
question-
This is not a game to me, Your Honor. Nothing about this is a joke.
I never
That's
said
what
it
y'all
was a
don't
joke.
understand.
But there's
And it's
some things in the
unfair.
ship
It's
that's going on.
unfair and it's disrespectful to me that you think I would come in here purposely and treat this like a joke or a game.
I never said it was a
What
joke.
type of statement is that?
Mr.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't think it's funny whatsoever.
So
And I
I
understand.
think, Your Honor, with all due respect, I think you should show
we're
some
gonna take
respect.
a 5-minute break, and when we come back, the jury's coming out, and you need to call your next witness. Thank you. We are in
No,
recess.
you're not rushing me to judgment. I don't care which.
So,
Your Honor, with all due respect,
Yo, this dude. I
witnesses
mean,
in order.
and really, he don't believe in all this sovereign stuff because he would have had a way better defense. He was trying to bait these folks into a mistrial. That's all he was trying to do. Is bait these folks into a mistrial. So let's go to the sovereign, another sovereign citizen tactic.
Not a defense at all.
Milwaukee civil rights attorney
Today, the judge ruled Brooks will not be able to use that as a defense because it does not have merit. Ben Jordan goes, Brooks claims he is a sovereign citizen, and today the judge ruled Brooks will not be able to use that as a defense because it does not have merit. Ben Jordan goes in depth on what a sovereign citizen is and why the defense has never worked in a criminal case in the state of Wisconsin.
A sovereign citizen is someone who believes they are not under the jurisdiction of the federal government and therefore thinks the laws don't apply to them. A local civil rights attorney says it's an illegitimate defense.
Mr. Brooks, you're interrupting me yet again.
Just weren't speaking.
All right.
Among Darrell Brooks's many outbursts at trial, he suggests being a sovereign citizen means he's immune to the rules of the court and the laws in Wisconsin. From a legal standpoint, what does this mean?
From a legal standpoint, it means nothing because it's not a defense at all.
Milwaukee civil rights attorney William Sultan says that's because the concept isn't recognized as a legal defense in any courtroom in the United States.
It's a theory that has been rejected for decades, and the court properly rejected it here.
William says the unusual defense has gained steam and become more common over the last decade. Have you ever seen someone try to use this sovereign citizen defense here in Wisconsin?
Yes, there was a case of some notoriety about 7-8 years ago with an individual who would put false liens on some judges in Milwaukee and Waukesha County. His case ended up being moved to Dane County, and he did pursue a sovereign citizenship defense.
How did it work out?
Not well. He was convicted.
Dr. Christine Sarteski is a professor at Chatham University who's closely monitoring the Brooks trial from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
A lot of people have never seen a sovereign citizen or have heard of the defense. I've been tracking them for a number of years now. I have I wrote a book on them. I have a website.
Dr. Sarteski says the sovereign citizen movement has been fueled with falsehoods on social media and the internet.
People always ask me, well, why would anyone try this when they never work? But the thing is I don't think the people who are trying them know it doesn't work. Or they might believe, hey, if I just use my strategy, this little difference here, it will work this time.
Not only.
Listen, y'all, let me tell y'all, I'm going to say this one more time. If you are a sovereign citizen, that means you are operating as your own nation. This is what being a sovereign citizen is. I'm operating as my own nation, meaning the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, this stuff don't apply to you, right? You're not protected by it. But if you violate the law, then you're going to be in violation of the law. That's what folks not understanding. Now, you can be a sovereign citizen, but you can't break the law. The problem is folks trying to be sovereign citizens, but breaking the law. So imagine yourself being out of the matrix. You walking around free in the matrix. You out there. You in Zion with you with Morpheus and Trinity and all them. You just kicking it. Naomi, you kicking it. And then you log on back into the matrix and do some trickery in the matrix. And then one of them sentinels show up and want to take you back into the matrix and plug you back up. That's what this is like. So if you want to be out of the matrix, you got to stay out of the matrix. All them folks born in Zion don't have no plug in their head, so they can't go back into the matrix. But if you can go back into the matrix, you better know all the rules of engagement when going back into that matrix. Because once you're in violation of that matrix, here come the agents to get you. It's the same way with this. You can be a sovereign citizen up until you violate that law. Once you violate the laws of the land, now you under that jurisdiction. I just read you all 4 murder cases that got overturned because the people said they were a part of a tribe, and they even threw a white guy in there talking about he had lineage. He had Muskogee Creek heritage. He killed his daughter's black boyfriend. Let me look into this case because I felt listen, man, this might be some racism right here. Shannon James Kepler. I know he ain't gonna look near. He ain't no kind of Indian. Shannon James Kepler. Y'all finna get me off on a tangent because I just thought about that. This man done killed the daughter's black boyfriend and he done got off. Okay, he got sentenced to murder, but I think he got overturned. Yeah, he got overturned. Shannon Kepler testifies he saw daughter's boyfriend with a gun before a fatal shooting. Closing arguments. He got 15 years. Boy, when I tell you he don't look Native American heritage. Oh, but you know what he got though, y'all? He got the ID though. Oh man, he got the ID. Look, y'all can't see it that good, but he got the ID. You can't really see it, but it says Muskogee Creek Nation Citizen ID, Shannon James Kepler. He got the ID, y'all. He got the ID. He got it. He legit. So anyway, it got overturned, but he don't look no way near Native American. And the boy biracial. Why they say he was black? That boy don't look. Okay, here goes all of them right here. Here goes that's the boy, that's the daughter, that's the dad. So they saying the dad is Native American. I don't know what the boy's supposed to be. They say he was black, but I feel like he might be a part of. Anyway, that's the boy, that's the dad, that's the daughter. So they're saying that the dad in the middle is Native American. Now we can all agree on this now. He ain't no Native American. You know, these folks, they let them folks buy their tribal memberships for $5. And they got access to the land, access to everything. You know, you get to go to school for free. When I was in Arizona, you can go to school for free if you're Native American, Arizona State. And I imagine at all these state colleges, if there are tribes in that state, they can go to school for free. And they get a check every month too. And they get free housing. You know, they talk about the unemployment rate at the reservations, right? But they ain't got to work. They get money every month and free housing. Anyway, so this man shot this boy. I'll look into this case for another time, but he's saying he saw a gun. I got a feeling it wasn't like that. He got a hung, it had 3 mistrials. He got a hung jury. Kepler, the day of the crime, the U.S. Attorney's Office statement said Kepler changed into dark clothing, used his wife's SUV, then traveled after dark to the lake's last known address with a loaded revolver in his waistband of his pants. Upon arriving, Kepler found his daughter and Lake walking together with some of their friends and approached them, attempting to talk to his daughter. When she turned away and entered the home, Lake tried to introduce himself, but Kepler put out the revolver instead and shot him twice, killing Lake almost immediately. U.S. Attorney Clint Johnson said in a statement announcing the sentence. Kepler fired 3 more shots in the direction of the witnesses, Lake's friend Josh Mills, Lake's 13-year-old brother, Michael Hamilton, and Kepler's own daughter, Lisa. He fled the scene only to turn himself in eventually, knowing that his fellow Tulsa police officers would be on a search for him. So he done shot this boy for no reason because his daughter, this is crazy. So I'm a cover this case next time. This is actually might be kind of good. But he done shot this boy but he ended up getting overturned. So he might have been in prison for like 7 years, and then or 8 or 6 years, and then got it overturned because he's a Native American. They suppressing my views, man. I mean, listen, y'all. What are they supposed to do? I'm on here telling the truth, right? You know, I'm on here talking the truth. So, man, listen, man, this dude done. I'm tripping off this case because this dude got the Native American ID card, and he literally looked like Adolf Hitler. I'm not trying to be funny. He looks kind of like Hitler with a longer mustache. I'm not exaggerating though. He's like a young Hitler. I'm not exaggerating, but he Native. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me tell y'all something. All these folks want y'all to go and leave this country because they know y'all got some ties to this land right here. All these movements in place to distract all these black folks about going to Africa and doing all this stuff, and your land is right here. If a white person can be a Native American, then surely you can. That's all I'm saying. If the white guy can get the ID, I'm gonna apply for mine because I want some land and I want a check and I want a casino too. I want all to come with it. Anyway, let's continue.
Does Dr. Sartesky say the defense is ineffective in the courtroom? She says so-called sovereign citizen extremism poses a threat to law enforcement.
You add in somebody who comes in with these, illegitimate ideas that have no basis in law, but they really believe them, so they then fight with the officer. And this has led to sovereigns being shot at traffic stops, and including, officers being shot.
Dr. Sartesky says a sovereign citizen defense never works out in the end, but it can cause major delays in trial due to constant objections, similar to what we've already seen in Mr. Brooks' case. Reporting outside the Waukesha County Courthouse, Ben Jordan.
A recess so that
Now I'm gonna go to this Reddit post, and he wants to get the case thrown out, or he wants to get a new jury.
Not a defense at all.
I'm extremely concerned about this. If anything, and if there's investigation, then that clearly says that something is amiss. We have 15. We have 15 jurors. There's still too many questions that we don't know. Too many. I don't think anything's put to bed because we don't know. It's unfair to say that the issue was put to bed when there's still so many questions left out there. I'm sure you reviewed it yourself, Your Honor. You see the language in this, whatever it is, thread. I don't know. I don't know what this is. It's clearly a post from somebody who has intimate knowledge of the trial and what's going on in the trial. I don't think. I mean, common sense would tell you that this is someone who's very close to the case, whether they were intending to be funny, whether they were intending to try to prank the court or anything like that. We don't know. That could be anybody's guess.
So now I'm gonna read this Reddit thing. Now, clearly, these folks like trolling who? Who do you think they're trolling in the situation? Who you think is being trolled? Not him. Who you think would take this information and run with it? Who? Who are the emotional groups in the classroom? Who? I am a member of the jury on this case. Here are my thoughts on the trial and on this subreddit. So already you know they trolling. Come on. The ice cold wolf, he said it. So I am a member of the jury on this case. Here are my thoughts on the trial and on this subreddit. Now, I heard a theory last night. The theory last night was that he has a mental disorder and he snapped into another personality, and then he did it and then snapped back out of it and then realized what happened. So he said when he's in court asking all these questions to understand, he really doesn't even remember what he even did. Now, who do you think gave that excuse? Who do you think said he had a mental breakdown, blanked out, and then came back to, and then when he came to, he was in the car, he didn't know what had happened. And so now he's in court trying to figure out what happened because he really doesn't even remember. Now, who do you think gave that excuse for this man? What demographic? So, to start with, I obviously shouldn't be here. I'm not allowed to look stuff up about this trial. So, to start with, I obviously shouldn't be here. I'm not allowed to look stuff up about this trial or really have any connection with the internet. But nobody actually follows sequestering rules anyway. Hence, I'm obviously posting anonymously. I accidentally wandered into here a few days ago from the subreddit drama thread on my main Reddit account. Here's my opinion on the trial. First off, I think that it's pretty obvious due to the chain of custody that the defendant in the fact Mr. Brooks, and he did do it. However, I've had throughout the trial doubts about various aspects of this case. The judge is clearly biased against Brooks. I got that feeling from when we were in the room, and my eyes have been open to how she acted towards him when the jury was out of the room. Clearly, she is not an impartial judge and has been trying to belittle, demean, bully, pull procedural tricks on him fairly frequently. I told y'all. I told y'all. Now listen, we all know that this judge has been the most patient we have ever seen in history. In fact, many folks said yesterday that this judge should have been shut him down. Many folks said the judge was too lenient. But this quote unquote person from Reddit is saying that the judge is very biased and basically racist because she's demeaning him, she's bullying him with tricks and unfair treatment, so she's racist. So now, who do you think they made this for? Who do you think will get all riled up about the judge demeaning him and bullying? And clearly, he's been the one doing this to the judge. He's been the one trying to bully the judge and demean the judge and talk crazy. It's been him. But who do you think will read this, not watch the trial, read this and go off on a tangent? You already know who would do it. Let me find something else. I'm trying to find. I don't see the first. I want to see all of the points because the person made multiple points. Anyway, they put it under the hashtag or under the title, justice for Brooks, justice for Darrell Brooks. Now, you know, it's a bunch of folks out there that believe that, you know, he was MK Ultra, that he really didn't do it, that, you know, it's a conspiracy. You know, it's a conspiracy. I want to read here we go. So number 2, Mr. Brooks has clearly not been given a chance to plead his case in court. He has been silenced and mocked at almost every turn. While he may be a bit loud or crass at times, I still believe his side deserves to be heard. Now, again, folks won't watch this trial, but they'll read this. Number 3, I do have significant doubts about subject matter jurisdiction, which is what he always says. They're really trolling, though. I didn't understand it when discussed in court because the defendant was repeatedly silenced, but I do understand now thanks to this sub, and I agree that subject matter jurisdiction is a great concern here. Like, you wouldn't even explain what it even is. You're just saying it. Listen, the person's obviously trolling, but I know one group of people, well, 2 groups, are going to take this and run with it. This subreddit has made me aware of the jury notification, and I am very grateful for that. Overall, I'm not sure what I will decide. I'm not educated in law, and I have to admit I'm biased against the defendant for the horrible acts he did. However, it is also clear that this trial is a complete kangaroo court. Mr. Brooks has not been allowed to try and prove his innocence, subject matter jurisdiction, or explain the circumstances surrounding this event. It's hard to imagine what could justify it, but we just can't know because of this trial. For these reasons, I'm torn between locking him up and throwing away the key or a jury notification. Both have arguments for and against them, and I'm not looking forward to choosing. I'm mostly writing this to help myself process my thoughts on this, but please let me know what you think. Now, clearly, so now listen, they did this to get this man to put on the show in court. That's what all this was for. This was for the woke cronies on the free world, all the woke folks, and then for him in court to read this, because you know them folks in jail showed this to him. You know everybody following this case. So you know when he get back to the jail, they clapping for him. You know he a celebrity. You know they gassing him up. So let me let's listen to what he says about this Reddit thing.
The language in this, the way that it's formatted, they lay out 4 specific points of what they think. They point to certain language in the case. They make references to saying when we were in the room, they got certain feelings from when where they specifically refer to themselves and a group. That would be we, plural. They say, and I have to admit, I am biased against the defendant for the horrible acts he did. And they attack you, Your Honor. They clearly attack you. This is if this is someone's idea of fun, is anybody's guess, but I don't believe that it is, clearly by the way it's formatted and by the language that is in it. This is clearly someone with intimate knowledge of the case and what's going on. Clearly. There's no other way to interpret this. You can tell by what they're laying out in the language that they're speaking with, that this is clearly someone close to the case. And because of that, it still has to be, I'm I'm informed of the investigation, but there's still too many questions left in the air just from this. How can we say anything's put to bed when there's still an investigation? For all we know, what if this turns up that it was someone on the jury, or what if it turns out that more people are involved in it than just whoever this anonymous person was who left the post? It's too many questions and it's too concerning. What if something like this springs up again at the last minute? We've been going through the trial now for basically 3 weeks, the better part of 3 weeks. And even in court dates leading up, this just came out of the blue, and all it's too uncertain, it's too concerning, and it's too alarming. It's too alarming to just overlook and say, oh well, we'll just set it to the side and let them. No, this there has to be some type of alternatives, and something has to be done. Something. And if that's a mistrial, if that's discharging a jury, if that's some other type of alternative.
So you heard him. He wanted either a mistrial or discharging a jury. Now, this is a post on Reddit that I just read that somebody put on Reddit to troll, obviously to troll him, to troll all the woke folks, to make this a big deal, knowing good and well this man did this. So again, this man that went from playing crazy to being a sovereign citizen. So, you know, let's go to where he gets found guilty, or his plea before he gets found guilty.
Be blocked in by the officers in barricade.
So, I want y'all to see this, where he's questioning this witness right here, this police officer. He's cross-examining the police officer. I want y'all to hear how he cross-examines.
Be blocked in by the officers in barricades.
No.
There are barricades at these streets. We can see. Would that be fair to say?
No.
So it's not fair to say that there's barricades at these streets.
It's fair to say that there's barricades at the streets.
So essentially, if someone was leaving the parade route, can they just go right through the barricades?
Based on the previous videos that we just were shown.
Not based on the previous.
This witness here is doing an amazing job and make him look like a fool. Amazing.
His videos. If someone
I must say,
leaving,
all of the witnesses so far have been amazing. Every last witness. They held it together. The state did a good job preparing them for what they gonna expect in trial. They were expecting him to, they knew what they were expecting when they went in. They were all prepared.
the parade route, can they just go down these streets that are barricaded? Can they just drive right out of there?
Yes, the videos show that.
How when it's barricaded?
As the video was
For this
shown.
for this police officer, if you're ever listening, you did a hell of a job. Hell of a job.
Earlier, the vehicle went right through the
Well, when
barricade.
you ask the question, you have to let him answer that. He's giving you the reason. You asked him how. He's explaining it.
there's plenty of ways to get off the parade route. You can stop after being given lawful orders by officers, and they could have directed you off the parade route in a safe manner. You could have stopped the vehicle at any point, or you could have driven through plastic barricades like you did at Northwest Avenue, where I was located. So yes, you can drive through the plastic barricades. You, Darrell Brooks, you. Darrell Brooks, you. Person that's talking.
You stated that you couldn't see.
So he tried to be slick. All the witnesses kept saying you. And so he would be like, who is the you? Like, and then they would say Darrell Brooks, but he kept telling the judge, I don't consent to being called Darrell Brooks or Mr. Brooks. So again, he tried to play both sides. He tried to not be Darrell Brooks and then not be you. So in other words, and during this case, he tried to remove himself from the incident completely. So he's literally arguing for I don't know who, because he's saying it's not him, you know. Hold on, I want to go to when they I want to go to when they read when he's talking about being guilty, and he's talking before he gets sentenced. Not sentenced, before he gets found guilty. Oh man.
Addressing subject matter jurisdiction. Please present. State versus Brooks appearances are as they were before. I would make just one note that Mr. Brooks is now present in a suit. And I will also advise that at 9:43 a.m.
So earlier that morning, they tried to give him a suit to wear to court. He said he didn't want to wear the suit. Then he gets in court and says, I never said I didn't want to wear it. So he just plays these little games back and forth. So then he had to go back to his cell, get the suit and all that, all this stuff. Or back to wherever they hold him at. I don't know where he's being held at. All right.
This morning, I was advised that the jury had reached verdicts in this matter. And without anything further, I'll have the jury brought out.
Your Honor, I don't consent to being called that name and would like to address subject matter jurisdiction for the record as yet to be proven.
Your objections are noted. I will not be addressing subject matter jurisdiction. Please bring the jury out.
Would it be proven for the record, Your Honor?
Just a reminder.
He's arguing basically that, so throughout this trial, he was saying, you all haven't proved that I'm Darrell Brooks. So he keeps saying, I don't, want to be referred to as that. I'm not consenting to that being referred to as that. So he's basically saying, y'all haven't proved that I'm Darrell Brooks. So Darrell Brooks may have done the crime, but I'm not Darrell Brooks. This is all like, this stuff don't work in real life though. It only works on Instagram and on YouTube talking or giving these speeches outside in front of the train station. But this doesn't work in real life because you can't break the law and then get off on technicality. That's not how that works. Not like this. Now, if you're referring to another law to get off, that's different. He's trying to get off completely from claiming to be a sovereign citizen.
Reminder to everyone that I do expect everyone in the courtroom to demonstrate appropriate decorum and courtesy as the verdicts are read and refrain from audible responses. Any disruptions may result in removal from the courtroom.
Your Honor, is that a tacit agreement not to address subject matter jurisdiction for the record?
Jury's coming in. All rise, please.
I respectfully object to that ruling, Your Honor, and request the legal reconsideration of your ruling for the record.
Your requests are noted, sir. We will not be addressing that further.
For the record, may I respectfully reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling, Your Honor. Is that a tacit agreement and a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that question as a public servant? For the record, may I request the legal or factual basis for your ruling, Your Honor?
It might have been a false alarm.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of fact and conclusion of law on this issue, Your Honor?
All your requests are noted for the record. They all are denied, sir. All rise. Jury's coming in.
For the record, may I respectfully move for an interlocutory declaratory appeal on this matter, Your Honor?
Denied.
For the record, may I move to stay these proceedings until this instant matter is adjudicated by a court of competent jurisdiction?
Denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor? Is that a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer that question? For the record, Your Honor, as a public servant? You don't have to address admiralty law or common law if this court is operating under admiralty law?
Will not be addressing any of those issues, sir. Thank
Respectfully
you, everyone.
object,
Please
Your
be
Honor.
seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you picked one among you to be the foreperson? All right, and I see it's your number 11.
So he's using all these legal terms they tell you that's supposed to work. Now you talk to these people and they tell you that all this stuff is going to work. But again, the judge is the authority in the court. So you got the law, and then the judge can also make his or her own ruling in the court. So that's why they call it a court of law. So he's in there saying all these terms that sound good. Now listen, this stuff sounds good on Instagram, and it sounds good on YouTube, and it sounds good when everybody talking out within that state. But when your life is at stake, this stuff sounds like foolishness. Yo, JoJo, I am crying. Boy, I am crying. Listen, y'all, we're on YouTube actually watching some of this stuff, but you know, they know it's over. Hold on, let me continue.
Six unsigned verdicts. The defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon. Answer, yes. We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 2 of the information. Did the
first-degree intentional homicide. First-degree intentional homicide. He is never getting out of prison, ever. The only way he'll get out is if we get another woke president that thinks that this was unjust. If that don't happen, you know, because you know in the future now they gonna pardon all these psychopaths. You know that, right? Like in the future, when it's woke, like in a few years from now, when it's super woke, oh yeah, they'll let folks out left and right. This guy right here should have been in jail. He was out on felony bond. He had 2 felonies he was out on, and he committed these crimes while out on bond. And keep in mind, before he ran these people over, he just punched his ex-girl, baby mama, in the eye and bust her lip and tried to hit her with the car. So in the video, he swerves to hit her with the car, she moved out the way. Then he basically punched her and hits her in the mouth, and then drives and then goes on to this. Man, JoJo Mac. There's somebody on YouTube, JoJo Mac, put on here more jail time, but he spelled it MOOR jail time. Yo, y'all are funny. Somebody said true Moors know and understand these tactics do not work. Yeah, this stuff do not work. Yeah, this is a real photo. This is a real. Listen to me, you all. I'm gonna play the highlights from the trial, but this photo looks crazy, right? This is a real, like this dude pulled off every. Hold on, I can show you another one. Hold on. He took his shirt off in the court. He just did all kind of stuff, man. He was out of control. Maybe I didn't save one. I thought I saved it. Thought I saved it. But anyway, so he got found guilty on all counts. He was found guilty on all counts, all of them. When he got found guilty, all his little steam went away. He was defeated.
Defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Hey, you are to be removed right now. You will not do that. We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 3 of the information. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Hey, you are to be removed right now. You will not do that.
I told y'all, everybody was on their best. This is how powerful the woke mob is. It should have been 1,000 outbursts. Imagine being in trial and this man ran over your grandmother or your son or your wife. These folks were on their best behavior because they knew the woke mob was going to use anything to make this not go through. Everybody was quiet enduring all this. The judge was patient, prosecution was patient, the jurors, the bailiffs were patient. Everybody was patient because they knew any slip up, they was gonna say it was racism and declare a mistrial. So then when that didn't work, somebody pulled the Reddit stunt, you know, to get all the conspiracy theorists folks, all the woke folks, all the black folks all riled up behind this being a conspiracy. So these folks on their best behavior. Soon as she said guilty of murder in the first degree with a deadly weapon, Old boy yelled out what he had to say and got out of the courtroom. He already knew. He was waiting to say that the whole time. He waiting 3 weeks to say this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the cop in the back, Brian, because he knows that Darrell Brooks is desperate because he'll do anything now. Like Darrell Brooks now will do anything because he knows he about to serve 6 life sentences. You know, getting, this like back in the Bible days, folks lived hundreds of years, So a life sentence took hundreds of years, like centuries. You might get sentenced to a couple of centuries back in the day, but in this day and age, Darrell Brooks, his whole life is over. Let's continue.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 3 of the information. And I should state as to count 2, it was signed and dated by the foreperson, same as to count 3. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
And what you all are seeing now is defeat. Now he's going to appeal this. It's going to get denied though, but he's going to appeal it. He's going to claim all kind of stuff. He's going to say 2 of the jurors had COVID. The Peter pandemic. He's going to say there was unfair treatment between him and the prosecution. He's going to say somebody threatened him in court. He's going to say he was removed from the courtroom. He's going to say he was he's going to say all kind of stuff in the appeals court when he files for appeal. But again, but let's get to the highlights though. I want to get to the highlights.
Once again, you're doing this tactic.
Because it's not a tactic, it's facts. It's facts.
To some other reason.
It's facts. Because I find it hard to believe that
I'm gonna
all of a sudden nobody hears what I say.
I'm gonna let the state make a record of why they believe it's objectionable because I haven't let them do that.
We go over the top 5 outbursts of defendant Darrell Brooks in the Waukesha Parade tragedy trial. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The trial of Darrell Brooks Jr. out of Waukesha, Wisconsin has really been something else. On one hand, we can't forget what this trial is about. You have a defendant who's been charged with over 70 crimes for allegedly driving his SUV into a group of holiday parade goers back on November 21st, 2021, ultimately resulting in the death of 6 people and injury, jurisdiction, or authority of the government. So we thought, why not revisit the top 5 outbursts of Darrell Brooks during or authority of the government proceedings? And this is partially due to the fact that we believe Brooks identifies as a sovereign citizen. This is someone who believes that they're not under the jurisdiction or authority of the government. So we thought, why not revisit the top 5 outbursts of Darrell Brooks during this trial? And I'd like to start with a particularly bad one. You see, at one point, Brooks called as a witness his ex-girlfriend, Erica Patterson, as he was presenting his case. Now, she had previously testified for the state, and it's alleged that Darrell Brooks, got into a fight with Erica Patterson and attacked her right before he drove his car into the parade. So when she was on the stand, he wanted to show that she wasn't a good mother and that she's not a credible witness and that she wasn't telling the truth, particularly about the last time that she had had contact with him. And that's when, while she's on the stand, he pulls out these photographs, and the state objected because they hadn't been shown these before. And outside the presence of the jury, prosecutor Zach Witchow talked about what would happen if these photos were allowed in, and he revealed something very bad about Brooks' past. And as you'll see, Brooks was not too happy about it.
3, I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erica Patterson is a bad mom. I think that that's what the defendant is trying to do. And if we're going to go down that road, then we would be forced to counter that claim. First of all, it doesn't make her an incredible witness, if it's even true. And second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada. And for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
Furthermore,
I object to that.
I'm not
because that's a lie.
Let him
Because at the
finish.
end of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish,
gonna open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can open the door
loud,
on how old she told me
disrespectful,
she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask
He's-
that question
he is
too. Then
over the
Did you
top,
ask that?
animated
Did you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state
No,
finish.
I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the
All
record.
right, under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter, and he can show it is inadmissible, she will not be questioned. And under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination closed. Thank you. We're in recess, 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much.
Parade tragedy trial. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. So we thought, why not revisit, particularly Brooks.
He doesn't live with any of the other children.
So again, he was on social media saying what he's saying in court now is a lie, because on social media he said he was pimping her out. I discussed this last night, when most of these pimps have to get underage girls because they're younger, they don't know enough, they're naive, low self-esteem. A lot of them been abused, molested, have daddy issues. So pimps normally get younger girls to pimp out. And so he admitted that he was pimping on the girl when he admitted it. He admitted it. But what's funny to me is how you a pimp, but you getting her pregnant though. Like, it just don't, I'm just like, it don't make any sense. But anyway, on social media, he admitted he was pimping her out. And so now he got pictures of the girl, I guess, in compromising positions, and he wanted to bring him to court to discredit her. But again, yeah. You think he looks better without dreads? Mentally deranged? I don't think he's deranged though. I just think this is what happens when grown men go years without being held accountable. This is what happens when grown men are enabled. This is what happens. Like when they rarely get in trouble. You gotta understand he's in a woke place. He ain't no exception to the rule. This is what happens when grown men don't get held accountable. He's a grown man with a child's mind. This is all the men out here causing havoc and destruction are all the immature men, the selfish, the immature man, narcissistic, all this stuff. So this is what, this is what he is, even to the point where he done just killed 6 people. Thank you, Middlebrooks, for the badges. He done just killed 6 people, and he ran to somebody's house and had enough gall to sit down and eat a sandwich with this person. Like, y'all say crazy, I just say entitled. I just say entitled. Think about it. He was already out on 2 felony charges. So think about it, you got a woke DA saying, we letting the criminals out. Everybody's woke around him. They're telling him the reason why you're doing crime is because of white people. If you think about it, guess who he went and hit? Some white people. I'm telling you, all this is psychological to get black people to nut up. And then when they bring the Chinese over here, We already got one Chinese police station in New York. And when the Chinese are patrolling these streets, when you see a cop car roll by and they got Chinese lettering on it, just know if they pull you over or tell you to stop, just go ahead and do it. If you don't do it, they're going to pop you. If you don't do it, I'm waiting for it to come back on Instagram. Thank you for the sticker, Mimi. Thank you so much. If you don't do it, shoot. So what I'm saying is, if you see a police car with Chinese lettering or writing on it, you see a Chinese officer with a badge and stuff in Chinese on them, when you see all that stuff, I don't care if they're going to be 4'11", don't matter. If you put your hands on them, they're going to charge you with a hate crime, and they're going to have the authority to kill you. I'm just letting y'all know that. So how y'all be fighting with the police, claiming you afraid, how y'all be shooting at the police, how y'all shoot at kill police, how you do all that stuff to police, just know when it comes to the Chinese police, if you put your hands on them, you grab their taser, you shoot at them, you fire them, do all that stuff, it's going to be a hate crime, and you're going to prison. They're not going to play. I'm just telling you, they're not going to play. They're not going to play. So just letting y'all know that now, all this stuff leads to the UN troops, the Chinese police, and some federal agency all designed to police you. And they're going to go to the areas with the highest crime, the highest homicide rates, the highest armed robberies, the highest violent crimes. That means they go into the black neighborhoods. So I'm just letting y'all know, all the studies y'all say aren't true, they're going to use the same not true studies to police your neighborhood. Just letting y'all know that. So I'm just advise y'all now, all y'all want to be sovereign, woke, militant, all that stuff. When them Chinese troops show up, just know it ain't going to work. So if you got a Moorish flag and you try to wave it in front of the Chinese police, it's going to be seen as a sign of aggression. They're going to pop you. I'm just letting y'all know. If you do all that hollering and screaming and call them out their name, sign of aggression, they're going to pop you. They're not going to play with y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. Thank you, Rita, for the sticker. I'm just letting y'all know that. So we'll be clear on what the Chinese police going to do. They're not going to play. If you don't believe me, just go look at what happens to China, to folks that cut up in China. Go see what happens to them. Let's continue. Somebody said Atlanta's in trouble. Atlanta the same way. We had Mayor Keisha Lance at the bottom, and the city went in shambles. And she couldn't even run again because Buckhead was going to try to annex itself from Atlanta. If Buckhead had left Atlanta, they would have took with them 58% of the tax dollars. 58%. That's the most affluent part of town is Buckhead. Now, all these woke folks telling you, eat the rich, but if the rich leave, now think about it now. What these woke folks should have wanted was for the rich to leave. The rich white people in Buckhead said, let us go and have our own city. But then all of a sudden, all the woke folks said, please don't leave. First, y'all said, let's eat the rich, but then they want to leave. Y'all said, don't leave. So I'm letting y'all know, Keisha Lance at the bottoms couldn't even run again because of how bad the city was with crime. And it's still bad. It's still bad. We all know how Democrats are on crime, and we know how black Democrats are on crime. They don't care about it. Because the more crime and chaos going on, the more relevant they are. Some Seventh Pass said, the Chinese culture is strict. My lecturer told me how you can't even make a wrong hand signal. And when you had the population rule, people had to move to rural China if they got pregnant. Right. But the new mayor we have in Atlanta, he's no better because the crime is still high. This whole young thug, all this stuff is done to have a face to the crime. Young Thug and YSL and all them, they ain't YFN, whoever, all of them. They ain't causing all the crime, and they're causing crime, not all the crime. The crime is being caused because Atlanta was open, and y'all told the police we want to defund y'all. So the police stepped back, and Atlanta was open because the state was open, and then next thing you know, it was a free for all. So, yeah. But let's continue with the highlights.
That he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada. And for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
Furthermore,
I'll jump to that.
I'm not
because
done.
that's a lie.
Let
Because
him
at the end
finish.
of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish,
gonna open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can open the door
loud,
on how old she told me
disrespectful,
she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask
He's-
that question
he is
too. Then
over the
Did you
top,
ask that?
animated
Did you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state
No,
finish.
I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter, and he can show it is inadmissible, she will not be questioned. And under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination closed. Thank you. We're in recess, 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much. Did you know she said she was 18 when I met her? Did you know that?
Now, luckily, as I said, this was outside the presence of the jury, and that is very good process. Is total your outburst.
Me.
Do you want?
That's what you don't understand. You think that this is a whole game to me. This is not a game to me, Your Honor. Nothing about this is a.
Was Darrell Brooks himself that she wasn't being unfair or violent. This judge is not at that.
Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody ain't.
Particular was really egregious.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody. I don't have a problem with doing what you asked me to do, not tell me. Just like when I asked you about subject matter jurisdiction that you have.
Now, in his delusional mind, and somebody brought this up, I watched a video yesterday about how he probably figured, since he claims to be a pimp, this is really po-pimping, but he claims that, the person was saying that he thinks that maybe he had a female judge, he was going to be able to work her. Like in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I can get her. I can play on her. I can get her. I can, so the reason why he probably wanted to defend himself was because he figured he had the better chance to manipulate the courtroom with a female judge. But the problem is she's actually very sharp. Like she's very sharp and she's just very patient and very tolerant, because if it was me, the first day when he pulled his shirt off, I'd be like, okay, send him back to his cell. We had a trial without him. I've been like, give him a little TV in his cell, and he can watch the trial from his cell. And tell him he can text somebody what he want to say, but you won't be back in the courtroom, not mine. But again, he figured he could probably work on her because she's a woman. I'm thinking because he's a quote unquote, pimp. But like I said, most of these pimps pimp on young girls. I used to work with kids, and it'd be girls young as 12 years old out there being prostitutes. I'm telling you, because this kind of game, it's hard to get a woman with this kind of game if she got any kind of self-worth, any kind of sense. Most women that are prostitutes usually been molested, have a traumatic life, got daddy issues, something wrong with them. And what a pimp does is he comes in and he plays on them vulnerabilities. You know, to me, the real challenge is for you to get a woman that's supremely confident, that feel like she got it all together. That should be the challenge. But getting a girl that's already weakened from life trauma ain't really it's not really a sport. But anyway, so he's mad at what the guy said, but literally he got a 16-year-old pregnant. And I don't care what any man tells me, I'll say it again. I don't care what any man tells me. You know when a girl is a girl, and you know when a woman is a woman. You know it. I remember being in high school. I was dating a girl, and I was like about to be 17. I was about to be 17, and she was like 18, but she was a senior. She was like, listen, I don't even know why she even liked me, because even my mom said, you too mature for him. Like, it was light years ahead from 18 about to be a senior to about to be 17 and a junior. She was literally light years ahead of me. I'm talking about light years. She had a car. She come pick me up, want to go out on dates. Like, she was literally light years ahead of me. Even my mom was like, she's too mature for you. You need somebody mature like you. But anyway, but we all know when, as a grown man, when a girl is a girl, when a woman is a woman, we know this. So I don't want to hear no man talking about, she told me she was, that's BS, man. You know when a girl is young. Y'all just some immature, pedophile type, molester type of dudes that want to take advantage, want to dominate a child. That's all it is. You know, you see them young girls and they always got on them white shoes. They always, you know, a girl young when she got on some white Air Force Ones. You already know she's young, man. I mean, it's just certain things you just see the girl, you know she's young. Talking about she told me she was 18 and you fell for it. You just you just a narcissist. You knew that girl was young, and you said you was pimping on her anyway, so he knew. Right. Let's continue.
Yet to prove on the record, but somehow I'm being intentionally disruptive. Come on, man, stop. Just stop it.
Jury's coming out.
All right for the jury.
Not gonna work.
And that is not the only time that he barked at the judge and told her what her job.
Somebody said ask the CID. If I gotta ask the CID, I'm not gonna listen. If I gotta ask to see a woman's ID, that means she's too immature. If I gotta question you off a first meeting, there's no need for me to even talk to you. Like, I'm not asking for ID. I'm not gonna deal with you. Asking for ID means you're questioning her maturity level. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna talk to you. Let's continue.
Job should be.
If you don't make a record,
So
then
what?
I can't make a ruling.
It threw people off the loop. They weren't ready for it. They scared of it. That's what it is. Come on, man.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man. Stop.
When you
Stop
aren't
Stop
even
it.
letting
You're a
me
public
ask
servant, Your Honor.
questions.
I respect your courtroom. I
You
respect you. You're a public servant, though. Your job is to be the referee. Is it or is it not? You stated so yourself on record that your job is being the umpire.
Your Honor, can I ask Ms. Patterson please be excused?
Yes, you can be excused. My apologies.
My apologies too, but it needs to be some truth. Especially when we're talking about stuff that didn't even happen, but they're allowed to get on the stand and say that it happened when they know it didn't happen.
So I'm going to make a record about what
This
he's
is
referring
ridiculous,
to
man.
in count 77.
Truth be told, I could do a 2-hour show on all of the disruptions and the hostile moments in court. But I have to tell you, after reviewing it, there is one moment in particular, one time when I was actually nervous for the safety of the people in the courtroom, and including the judge. And this came about when the prosecution started presenting an issue and how the prosecutor, Sue Opper, said the word defendant. Take a look.
There's an issue that we do need to take up potential as to a witness by the name of Abel Lescano. He has prior criminal history.
Thank you.
So as long as the jury's out, we should probably discuss that. I would like to provide the defendant and the court with a copy.
So that had
of
to be
the-
said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how I
completely
said. You want to run the
disagree.
record back?
Mr. Brooks,
So I'm the only one. I got one. I
Mr.
got one
Brooks.
ear that work, and I heard that.
this
Come on,
is
man.
to benefit
man.
you so
No,
that
it's
you
not.
understand
Ain't none of this
your
to benefit me,
witness
so let's
has
be clear
a
about
prior
that.
record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom and I have to elevate my voice. This is the
So she had to
alleged
elevate her
record of
voice
Abel
just for
Lescott.
that.
Stop talking.
Come on, man. Like, I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I accept the value in return for value this document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next
That's
courtroom.
what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt Attorney Opper.
So can
Your
you
Honor,
tell,
I
can you
believe he
explain-
has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
So, as we record this, we are coming to the end of the Darrell Brooks trial. After the judge deemed Brooks was
So yes, he wasn't held in contempt because again, what she did was she found a way around the woke culture. So she basically gave him his own courtroom to throw a tantrum in. She was smart. I'm not gonna hold him in contempt. I'm gonna give him his own courtroom. He can go in there and throw a tantrum. He was over there building forts. He's over there throwing the paperwork on the ground. He's over there yelling. He over there cutting up. She gave him his own little tantrum room over there. That way, nobody can come back and say that she was unfair. She had to be over accommodating. And think about this now. It's a lot of pressure because, again, the media tried to make this man innocent from the jump. They said he was trying to flee from an armed robbery, somebody trying to rob him, and he's trying to flee from the police. This is what the media said initially. So they knew that this court case was very sensitive, and she had to follow all the rules. So they was more than accommodating. People weren't interrupting him. People let him talk. I'm telling you. You know, so let me yeah, I try to get people over here from Instagram. I just had an Instagram on just supposed to come over here. But so let's find some more highlight. Listen, I get a kick out of this stuff because yo, hold on. I'm trying to find. I want to show y'all where he took his shirt off.
Noticed that one of the jurors, the lady in the black that's closest to the screen in that corner chair over there, I recognize her from my initial appearance. Noticed that one of the jurors, the lady in the black that's closest to the screen in that corner chair over there, I recognize her from my initial appearance. She flipped me off coming in to my initial appearance and coming out. I know it's her for a fact. I seen her about like how I'm looking at you right now. So I know for a fact that's her. I don't want that to end up being an issue. Is it some type of way that could be addressed by Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, you had an opportunity to exercise preemptory strikes and even to question jurors about that. You chose not to. So at this point, any issue you have with that juror is waived.
Okay, you do remember that I was not present in the courtroom. I couldn't see. All I can see from that courtroom in there is just you, Your Honor, and the prosecution's table. I can't even see the bailiffs. So it was no way for me to even see who the jury was. Obviously, I wouldn't know them by name. If I would have been able to see the jurors, I would have immediately addressed that.
I will make this one indulgence. I'll have the civilian bailiff ask that juror if she was in attendance at your initial appearance out of an abundance of caution. These are jurors, though, who with the jury questionnaires were also asked what knowledge they had about proceedings they watched or even attended.
So this man claimed that the juror, one of the jurors, flipped him off. Listen, man, this man is pulling out. First, he said he blind in one ear. He definitely, well, yeah, he blind in one ear, and he can't see and he can't hear out his other eye. That's basically how he's trying to talk. But he said one of the jurors flipped him off, and he says he sees her in it. You know what's sad about this case? Somebody mentioned it. Look how much leeway they gave this man with this trial. And imagine this being a pattern. Imagine all these trials being like, it's just too much. It becomes a fiasco, a circus. It's too much. Oh, let's continue.
By your honor, that's a valid question.
Mr.
because
Brooks,
that's a constitutional
I
right.
have given you ample opportunity to present information, evidence, to question when we've had witnesses on the stand, but I expect you to follow the rules of procedure, the rules of evidence when presenting your requests.
I can't even
So-
get these admitted into evidence.
That's, Mr. Brooks, I cannot explain to you if you don't understand the basis in law for the denial.
You're right. I don't understand. But
So,
I was
but that
following-
doesn't mean we're going to have a
I was
discussion
following- no,
or a
I'm not
debate
trying to debate
about
with you,
what
but I
it
was
means, because we're
following-
not
I-
going to court fairly, and you have an obligation to follow your waiver of right to an attorney. So we're not going to relitigate that here right
You also
now.
accepted the terms of the paperwork that I
Mr.
filed out.
Brooks, I'm not going to engage with you about whether you and I have entered into some type of a contract.
We did not.
Or engage
We
in
did
any
not.
type of
We
that
did not
kind of
enter into
dialogue,
any
because
contract.
that's what you're claiming through some
No,
of these
I'm not.
filings,
I'm
and
not
you've
claiming
said that
I
previously.
am not claiming that, Your Honor.
So,
In any way,
Mr.
shape, or
Brooks,
form, do
I'm
not
giving you
consent to
some
any
leeway.
contract.
You continue to talk over me. It's, you please, I'm asking you to follow the rules of civility. Simple rules, sir. Don't interrupt me.
Did I not just let you read the whole jury instructions and follow the rules that you said I have to write down?
You did.
Anything that I object to and then hand it in.
Except now that we're discussing them, it seems to me that the rules don't quite matter to you, sir.
No, that is not what's
So,
being asserted.
Here's
on
what's
my
continues
Your
to
Honor.
interrupt. He's not providing
That is
this court with
inaccurate, Your
ability to make rulings on the record without interruption. So this is your final warning, or you will be removed to the other courtroom.
Will Your honor my First Amendment right?
I'm
Or
not
are you
answering
making
that
it- or are
question,
you
sir,
making it
because
a-
I've already addressed
So
it.
you're making a judicial determination to deprive me of my constitutional
I am not
right.
making any such determination, sir.
So you just said you're not going to answer the question about my First Amendment right, which said.
To the ladies, could you all imagine dating a guy like this? Like, just imagine how just having an argument with him and he wouldn't stop. Like, he would just argue into submission. Like, he won't stop. Like, just going on and on and on and on. You know what? I Am Queen Jess says he thinks he's arguing with his girlfriend or something. Right. It's almost like he uses these same tactics with his baby mamas. The same way he trying to wear the judge down, he does them the same way, just constantly, probably berating them. It's just constant. Just yeah, man. It's crazy. But this kind of guy, though, he got 4 children, though. You got to think. That means he got like 4 women decided to lay with him. Oh, Pookie, Ray Ray, and Darrell. That's the new one. Pookie, Ray Ray, and Darrell. Goodness.
Sir, I've already answered the question that you have a right to present a defense.
That is the
You have
Sixth
a right
Amendment,
to
not
be
the First.
present.
You're trying to twist
You
up the
have
amendments.
a right to present your defense, but your rights are not unfettered.
Yes, they
Your
are, Your
rights-
Honor. You're citing the Sixth Amendment, which I am not
Mr. Brooks,
questioning.
your
I'm-
First Amendment in some respects is circumscribed by the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure.
Does it say that I have?
So that
freedom
doesn't
of
mean you
speech?
get to say anything that you want in
No,
front of
I'm-
a jury.
Your
And
Honor,
it doesn't mean you get to put forth any kind of evidence that you want in
Your
front
Honor,
of a
am
jury.
I
What it
being-
means, sir,
am I
is
being
that you
disrespectful?
must
Am I
follow.
calling you
Yes,
out your
you're being
name? Am I threatening
disrespectful because
anybody?
you're
I'm not doing anything of the sort.
All right, he is continuously talking over me. So at this point, I'm going to find that he's forfeit his right to be
I have
present as
not
I
forfeited
go
my right,
through
Your Honor. I have
his
not consented to any. I'm
his
simply trying
paperwork.
to
He's to be
understand.
removed to the other courtroom
I'm
until
simply
such
trying to
time as he
understand
can pledge to
why we're-
file.
Option that you made up that's not even in the law,
Mr.
because you
Brooks,
can't do that.
I need to make a
By law, you
ruling.
can't do
I
that,
need to
and
make
you
a
know you
finding.
can't.
All right, I'm going to excuse everyone. Mr. Brooks is being removed from the courtroom. He will continue in the neighboring courtroom. Please make sure he has his objection sign and a pad of paper.
So
Now, after spending some time in the other courtroom where Brooks has spent some time during this trial, he was eventually allowed to come back into the main courtroom.
The court is going to continue with the decorum and respect inherent into SCR Chapter 62, which has been provided to you previously.
Does that say anything in there about me being held in contempt?
That does not, no.
So why have I been held in contempt?
I didn't hold you in contempt, sir. You are simply in a different courtroom based upon your disruptive behavior. I'm giving you the
behavior has not been disruptive.
I've put
This was actually very ingenious by the judge because she never held him in contempt. So if you think about it, when we look back on these proceedings, he can't say he was ever held in contempt by the judge. So it kind of nullifies any argument he has because she put him in another courtroom. He was never held in contempt. So whatever he fires back with, because his first thing is going to be, well, I was treated unfairly, but there will be no actually contempts on the record. So it's going to be kind of hard to prove that, which actually ingenious when she did this. I'm going to just put you in timeout in another room like you a child, which it really is. And that's right, Brian. Honestly, as a judge, this is a great tactic. It's almost like how you treat a child. You put them in timeout and they'll get the picture. You got to be in a whole separate courtroom by yourself with bailiffs and you can't nobody hear you. I can mute you. So guess what? If you want to be in the courtroom, you'll be quiet. Right. Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks. Yeah, he a fake Huey Newton. That's right. He likes attention. He loves attention. That's why when his baby mama, she wasn't fooling with him. He got to try to swerve and hit her with the car, get out, hit in the mouth, hit in the eye. He's just crazy. But let me let's continue real quick.
put my findings on the record, sir, and the record stands in that regard.
Your
I'm
record
giving
should
you
be
the
corrected.
opportunity, if you can, indicate to this court that you will conduct yourself with courtesy and decorum. Are you willing
So-
to do that, sir?
Is Your Honor willing to tell me why I've been held in contempt?
Now, you may recall at the beginning of this trial, back on Friday, October 6th, but to that
force. It's my understanding there was some type of situation or altercation between Mr. Brooks and the deputies. Ultimately, though, I think he was taken into the bullpen He was brought back out, but it was very clear to me that he was upset. I think understandably so, but I needed to make a record of what was being done, including that I have obtained the test result. So there.
Brooks removed and sent to the other courtroom, and he was appearing remotely from there.
All right, we are back on the record. Appearances are as they were before. I need to make a record that at 8:42 a.m. this court ordered Mr. Brooks be removed from the courtroom due to repeated interruptions and disruption with the court. This, of course, comes on the recent history with Mr. Brooks. On every day that we have been in court since Monday, he has shown a complete and utter disrespect for the simple rules of civility. He has been removed from the courtroom multiple times. This morning alone, he started in a.
So, but again, you remember, he was trying to plead insanity at first. So then his next thing was, okay, I'm gonna represent myself, but I still want to keep my legal counsel, which is absolutely insane that he would even think that was even gonna fly. But yeah, he became a stripper. He went from a pimp to a rapper / gang member to a sovereign citizen to a stripper to a lawyer. Like, this is just, he's just crazy. He done went through the whole gambit. And keep in mind, this guy is 39 years old. He's not young. He's 39. He even said, I have grown children. He's 39 years old. And he's still gangbanging. So I'm just trying to find one more I'm trying to find a clip where he's talking before. Oh yeah, he was talking before the jury came in. I can't find it. We just end on him being a pimp.
To bring you breaking news out of Waukesha. The jury has reached a verdict within the last few minutes. The jury told Judge Jennifer Darrell that they are ready to deliver their verdict. They have decided if Darrell Brooks is guilty of killing 6 people during the Waukesha Christmas parade last year. Prosecutors say he drove his red SUV through the parade route. Right now, he is facing intentional homicide charges, 6 of those, as well as 70 other charges. We do know that the jury has been deliberating since last night. They got the case just after 6:20. They called it a night just after 8 o'clock last night. So 2 hours last night. They reconvened about an hour ago at 8:30 this morning, and at 9:43 we have learned that a verdict was reached. Now the court will reconvene in just about an hour, a little under an hour, at 10:45 to have those verdicts read. We want to invite you to stay with us throughout the day, throughout the morning here. You can find the latest on WISN.com as well. We will break into your programming as soon as court reconvenes. Again, that's expected to happen at 10:45 this morning.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I forgot. Oh. I was doing so good, you all. Oh, I was doing so good without talking. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, YouTube. Sorry, my goodness. Oh, my cousin gonna get me. You're right, Jakari. I was doing so good, though. I haven't done it in weeks. But anyway, like I was saying, if you're a sovereign citizen, you don't have any protection. So that means the Constitution, Bill of Rights, none of the government, none of this stuff is going to protect you. You are a sovereign nation existing in America. That means you are here actually trespassing technically. And if you're here and you violate the laws, then you're going to be subject to the laws. That's why the sovereign citizen thing doesn't work when you break the law. Again, if you're part of a Native American tribe, then you're part of a nation. Then it applies to you. And we've seen cases where folks convicted of murder got them overturned in 2021 because they said it should have been a matter handled by the reservations or the tribes. And so, that's where we are with that. But this whole sovereign citizen thing doesn't really work. No, not like you're see an ambassador has usually a home nation to go to. So like I'm an ambassador for France. I'm still my nationality is French. Or if I'm an ambassador for Ethiopia, my nationality is Ethiopian. If you're a sovereign citizen, you don't have you're the nation. You don't like you are the nation. So that means a nation could say we wage war against Free Blanche. And then I run to the military and say, protect me. And they say, we can't. You're not American. You're a sovereign citizen. You're not part of this. And that's what most folks don't realize. You give up your protection. Now, in the future, they're going to want folks to be global citizens, So they're going to ask people to give up all of their rights in their country, particularly here. So what they'll do is they'll try to woke you into giving up your rights to be a global citizen. And then you share the rights with the world, which means you won't have any rights. Folks will fall for it because they'll tell people, if you become a global citizen, you won't have any experience racism, no more poverty, no more anything bad. You be a global citizen, the world will be your oyster. And folks are going to sign up and do it, and they're going to be slaves. Or even worse, lambs for the slaughter. That's right. You can't be sovereign and a citizen. So if you're a sovereign, you're existing as your own entity. And when they're talking to these people, they don't tell them this stuff in layman's terms. If you are sovereign, imagine you being your own nation with your own flag. That means if you violate the laws of the land, you're going to be a Darrell Brooks situation. You're going to be in court playing 100 different characters. You're going to be a pimp. You're going to be a gang member. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a sovereign citizen. You're going to cry. You're going to be a victim. You're going to be all this stuff in one and still lose the case. I haven't seen the boy in the pajama shorts, but I heard it was good though. So if you do a crime in Jamaica and you're Colombian, usually, they'll just usually ship you back to your country. Now your punishment is you can't come back to Jamaica. So the notion these folks think is that if they can, wiggle in between the law, they won't get punished. No, you still get punished. You can't come back here. So like, for example, you remember Shine, that did that stuff with Puff Daddy. He was a citizen of Belize, right? But he still did 10 years of prison here because he violated the law here. And then when he got done, they shipped him back to Belize and he can't come back here. So your punishment is you can't come back to the country of the offense. They finna get you up out of here. So like certain people that flee America, like Russell Simmons, right? Russell Simmons is in some island. Russell Simmons is somewhere in a yoga pose, philosophizing, but he knows if he come back to the U.S., he gonna be tried for Well, they cut my IG off. They cut my. What the heck is this? Listen, y'all, there's some sick stuff on Instagram. But anyway, long story short, the sovereign citizen thing only works if you're not breaking the law. So if you don't break the law, you can be a sovereign citizen. But as soon as you break the law, I'm sorry. But it's what most folks think. Like most people think, if I ask God for forgiveness, I won't suffer the consequence of the sin. It's not true. You're forgiven of the sin, but you still got to pay for the sin that you committed because you reap what you sow. So you don't escape the punishment, you escape the damnation. So the same thing with this, you don't escape punishment. You leave the country, but you can't ever come back. So imagine being somewhere, you violate the laws of the land, and you can't come back, and all your family is there. All your loved ones are there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but hopefully we all learned something from Darrell Brooks. Yes. So I guess Red Cyber 45 said, on tribal reservation, native can commit murder and get max 3 years under tribal law. Yeah, it depends on what the tribal laws are. I imagine each tribe has different laws, but again, that's their system. So in their system, it's 3 years. But guess what? The guy that killed somebody, or these men that killed somebody, when they get to the reservation, they're not going to serve any time, but they've already served this amount of time in prison outside of the reservation. Or it's possible they could make them serve 3 years. And I don't know. But you're not escaping any punishment is my point. So yeah, Russell Simmons, he in Thailand. Okay, yeah. He figures he'd be in Thailand. Figures. Well, if they want you bad enough, they're not going to go over there to get you. They're going to go over there and pop you. They're going to end your career. So what they do is they just say, okay, you stay over there and never come back, you good. So who's the guy with the WikiLeaks guy? He's over there. He ain't coming back. So yeah. But listen, y'all, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the stickers. Instagram, thank y'all for the badges, but y'all are gone. My live got cut off. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. Yeah, they're gonna send you back. They're gonna send you back. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all. Maybe I might go live tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm getting my haircut tomorrow. Usually I go live for my haircut. If not, then Friday. All right, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.